Thank you.
Okay, good evening. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Those of you who are. We'll just start with the usual request that if anybody's filming or taping the meeting, that they make themselves known. Seeing nobody, we'll move on to the roll call. I'll start on my left here. Once you identify yourself, it makes it look like there's more people here. So.
I thought you were going for the actual board members. But
No.
We're going to count you tonight.
We're going to count you tonight, so we're going to get everybody in.
Chris Kelsey, Barnstable Police Department.
Maureen Piccioni.
Pete Sampu.
Nina Coleman, Park Manager.
Donna Bragg.
And Tom O'Neill. Thank you, everybody. The minutes from September, voluminous minutes. Ably, you can't vote, that's right. All right, pass on the minutes
Defer them to next month.
till next month. I don't have anything to say at the moment. Just one thing, we do need to get Mark L. scheduled again for probably December. I'll talk to you, Nina, about that in terms of the project timing. I think we probably want to have I would like to have another project update before that, so sometime maybe end of November, beginning of December, something like that. So we'll talk about that offline. Correspondence, anybody?
No.
No? Okay. Staff report then.
Thank you, Donna. Which one? Which one am I going to? This?
In the middle?
This one? Yes, ma'am.
You got it.
Whew. All right. Slideshow from beginning. All right, let's put this one over here. Okay, so we're still in our summer hours, but they're about to change. So the gatehouse hours are 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. through Halloween, October 31st, and then beginning on November 1st, it's by appointment. We are there a lot. Doesn't mean we're not there. It's just that we're not guaranteeing that we're going to be at the gate. We might be out in the field. So you really should call first. Right now, RV Beach hours are 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., again, through October 31st, and then beginning November 1st, it's 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Likewise, our campfires are still allowed, but there'll be no fires starting November 1st. Speed limit on the beach is 15 miles an hour. Next slide. We still have quite a bit of Sandy Neck merchandise for your stocking stuffers and Thanksgiving presents or whatever it is that you would like to celebrate. We got lots of good stuff for you. So either stop by or give us a call after November 1st. The bathhouse is closed for the season. We do have 2 portable toilets. One is handicap accessible in the parking lot. And we are in a number of fall hunts, but right now we are doing the pheasant. So it is busy. You will see people out there, especially in the morning and the evening, with their dogs and their hunting gear. Folks that are concerned about that should check in with the gate. All hunters must sign in so we know who's out there. If you're on the front beach, you are not going to interface with a hunter. So access trail and front beach, all of those areas are a big buffer around those areas. I'm going to turn this over to my colleague, Donna.
Well, we had a wonderful September coast sweep, and I cannot say enough about the attendance, and especially Massachusetts Beach Buggy Association. You guys made our year, for real. And it was just great to have everybody out there. Quite a bit of trash was picked up and a bunch of weird little things. And it's already been sent to the consortium, worldwide consortium. So they're gathering all the data. And they actually, and I should get that for you guys, they have a website that I'll give everybody next time. So you can actually track where the trash is and what, how much has been picked up. But without you guys, it was great. It was great to see everybody out there, and it looked like you guys were having a good time. So we thank you very much.
Yeah, special thanks from the board, too. It was a fun day. Last year, this particular coast sweep, I think there were 5 of us there. So it was really a huge difference this year with you guys leading the way. So it was a much more effective day. I did miss the hamburgers, however, but...
The hamburgers.
Okay.
So that's the end of my report. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have. It is sort of a quieting time of the year.
Yep.
Sort of moving into fall stuff.
Turtles?
Hunting, no turtles yet. We are looking.
They're already sending us information about gearing up, so you may want to tell your wife that we're looking for a few more banana boxes and more towels.
Okay. Pete?
I'd like to have a shout out to my fellow pheasant hunters that since we are in between the dunes, maybe with our dogs, but certainly with a probably game pouch on your jacket, to please pick up the trash and just put it in your game pouch and throw it away when you get back to the gatehouse or the blow-up center. Yeah, pick up the trash out there, hunters. It's a big help.
Good message. Okay, is that the staff report? Old business, we have a fairly depleted board tonight, so we'll skip through this pretty quickly. But the only thing I was just going to mention, I mentioned earlier off the record, was the project, still moves forward. I mean, Nina, you want to talk about the CZM grant real quick? Sorry, losing my mind.
Yeah, the project is definitely really picking up steam, wind behind our backs. Feels really good. The meeting with Mark last meeting was excellent. Really got some good information. Feeling supported by about this project. We did also receive our CZM grant, which is for design and permitting up to what I think is
90%.
90%, yeah. And so it was a little under 100,000, maybe 92.
Yeah, 92 something.
92. So that's going to get us right up to when we're going to start looking for funding for construction. And so we recognize, and that really came up with Mark, was how is this going to be funded? And we're just too soon at this point to know what the enterprise account is going to need to carry, because we don't know what we're going to get for grants, but we certainly are going to continue to pursue CZM. You can do CZM in phases, which I found out since our last meeting. So this is a 2-phase project, parking lot, and then all the other amenities. So we could actually ask for CZM funding twice, up to $2 million per ask. We're also putting feelers out to the MVP grant, which this is an MVP town. Don't make me say what MVP is.
I was going to ask.
I don't know.
Massachusetts Vulnerability
Program.
Program. Thank you. Project. Maybe that.
No idea.
Even though those are two state, they can be overlapped together. So that's some other news that I received that was interesting. And
the NOAA grant too.
And then the NOAA grant, which is federal. So a lot of times you can only do one state or up to a certain, there's a lot of rules with this stuff, but the NOAA grant, they're going for the whole kit and caboodle.
Right.
And CZM is requesting those funds for this project. So there's a lot of sorting out there. I feel like it's a very fundable project. That's my colleagues out in the community that are these organizations. I mean, Sandy Neck rings everybody's bell for all of resiliency, endangered species, ACEC. I mean, it definitely is fundable. It's just how much. And so once we sort of start getting there, we're gonna start looking at what the enterprise account, what part of this funding is going to come from the enterprise account, and we're going to try very hard to stay away from general funds, because that was definitely a message I received.
Yep.
But I think that we can do that quite easily. So I'm feeling really good about the project. I did give them the feedback to get some more team meetings going.
Yep.
I think that the consultants are kind of just got their head down working on our permits. Oh, one more really important thing. We submitted for an ENF, and that was approved, so we don't need to go to an EIR. Pete's gonna know what I'm saying, which is good news. It's a MIPA filing, and it means that we don't have to do any additional filing. We've kept it under the thresholds for some environmental permitting. It's a very big hurdle to get over.
This relates to the mitigation for the frog?
No,
or
I know.
no,
It's pretty confusing. The ENF, environmental notification form, when you have a huge project like this that is an ACC, all these other designations, all the you have to submit the entire proposal to multiple agencies, and they all get to weigh in.
Right.
And so they're all.
to agree.
They have to agree up to a point, but they're basically saying, is this enough? Are you gonna be sort of under a certain threshold? Or do you have to do an EIR, which is basically like 5 books? I would say.
Huge research,
In-
justification. It's a headache.
Oh, yeah, it's a
And it costs
headache.
a lot of money.
Yeah, it costs a lot of money. So we just received notification that we were good with the ENF. So our next hurdles are getting the design further along. We need to do, the next big hurdle is going to be Natural Heritage and Endangered Species Program. That's the mitigation
Right.
piece that you're speaking of. So we know that there's going to be a mitigation requirement for this project because we are doing work within spadefoot toad habitat. So that needs to be sorted out. We go to the Conservation Commission, but we have Pete, who's very well versed on the project, and then a number of other smaller boards. But we're really chugging along.
Yeah, I think Leslie, in our last meeting, said that she felt pretty comfortable that, that they'd get the ENF approval, but also that there was a strategy that would be relatively easy to implement regarding the spadefoot toad issue, with possibly some use of permeable parking spaces and things like that, so.
Yeah, so, I'll just take 1 second to talk about both of those things. The ENF was very obtainable, but we were holding the line to keep as the same amount of parking. So we had to have more impermeable area, and so that's where we were gonna use these different
Right.
waivers. So when we were going through, the public hearing portion of this, we've got the message loud and clear. It's like, you can't have less parking. And we knew that was gonna be difficult through the ENF. So we were able to maintain the same amount of parking we have now, which is a bigger parking lot because now we have to meet all these requirements. Our parking lot is not spec'd correctly, obviously. So we have the same amount of parking lot, so it's a bigger parking lot. But then we have these particular different type of pavers where the water can percolate through. So that was that piece. And then the natural heritage piece, it's never easy. That's me. That's my 25 years of working with natural heritage. But we have been supplied with some ideas on how to provide mitigation that's acceptable.
And what mitigation would they be looking for?
They gave us a list of possible mitigation, and it was,
Why is it needed? That's what I'm.
so the Endangered Species Act not only covers a take of an animal or a plant, but the habitat. And so our increase in square footage of our project is impacting habitat. So it's a certain amount of square footage more, and that's what we need to mitigate for.
So, but are they looking at that? We've had this discussion before. Are they looking at that percentage that amount of space as a percentage of the total Sandy Neck facility, or are they looking at it as a percentage of the Bodfish Park section, or?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely presented that. That was part of our justification. So I think the way it was explained to me is, by Natural Heritage, is if we had a 5-acre property, they wouldn't even let us do this take, because it would be a big portion of a small
Right.
property. But because it's such a big property, they're allowing the take as long as we mitigate.
Right.
So, and there's no rule book. I mean, they're gonna get what they want. So we're looking at, like a conservation restriction somewhere, in spadefoot toad habitat. I'm looking for that. Providing money, it could even be for another community that's purchasing land, that's spadefoot toad habitat, anything that's a net positive. So that's something that I've been working on.
Yeah, is it possible that the land trust in the county could be helpful there with some acquisition of land?
Certainly.
Or utilization of some of that land to,
If they were right in the process of purchasing, like, buildable property that was, sandy soils with wetlands, that's, that would be spadefoot toad habitat, that would be perfect. But most of that land has been purchased and protected already.
Yeah.
like all of the Barnstable Land Trust land is already, has CRs on all
Yeah.
of those properties. So we're working through it.
And what about the archaeological study?
Yeah, so through this, ENF, the Mass Archaeological folks, whatever they're called, whatever their department is called, could take a pass at our proposal, and they wanted an archaeological study of the area that we're moving the parking lot back to.
Right.
So it's actually pretty expensive. And they're gonna do a study to see if there's any Native American artifacts in that area. I'm pretty confident. I mean, there's a lot of Native American artifacts on Sandy Neck, but that primary dune is pretty new and shifting, and Native Americans generally did those type of minions or stockpiles of stuff on the back side of things.
Okay.
So they're more protected.
Do you know when they're going to commence that, or how it's going to be funded? How will it be funded?
Funded right out of our CZM and
Okay, so it's part of that.
CIR, yeah.
Okay.
Yep, it's all part of it.
Oops.
So it's a lot of things going on,
Right.
but again, my first statement here is the wind's at our back a little bit,
Yeah.
finally.
That's a complicated project for all the reasons we've talked about. I mean, I think relative to the point you made about the enterprise account, you could just start to pro forma that now rather than wait. You just, in other words, just figure out based on your revenues what you have, what your likely range of spare cash is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could probably nail that down pretty accurately right now and say, look, we have, $100,000 a year or $200,000 a year or whatever to spend on paying down debt. Because that's probably not likely to change a lot. I mean, the only way that would change would be through fees. And, we're done with fees for this year, so,
For this year,
right.
yeah.
So I think you could pro forma that pretty accurately for now and just, so you don't have to do it later, it might be something that,
Yeah, my intention is to have another pass at it with Mark Millen prior to the town manager coming to the meeting.
yep.
So, yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't know where we're going to go with the rest of this agenda. You want to talk about the deer hunt, and then we'll cover the other things?
I was trying to move this.
Did you already? Yeah, let's do
What's
that
that?
now. I saw two huge deer actually on the marsh trail yesterday. They were walking along the marsh trail.
Yeah, pretty amazing. Middle, right
Higher.
there. You're good. You got it.
This one?
Yes, ma'am.
Looks
Oh, my
complicated.
goodness. Where's my
Back up to the
slideshow?
top. Yeah.
Woo, under pressure. I'm much better when I'm not under pressure. All right, deer hunt. So the dates we selected are similar to what we've always done, the week of Thanksgiving, assuming it's the week of Thanksgiving. And then December 11th through 16th would be the black powder muzzleloader hunting. So the Thanksgiving one is archery. That's historically what folks have enjoyed out there. 6 deer per date range, and then we would be a total of 12 deer. You must attend the hunt meeting. It's the Wednesday prior to each of those hunts. And I'm not sure. Hannah puts all this stuff together for me, so. So there's a number of supplemental regulations. We'll make sure this is available online. Donna?
Yeah, we're gonna put it online tomorrow.
Okay. You have to have an ORV sticker. And you have to follow all hunting regulations. The big one that comes up is a half an hour before sunrise to sunset. And we'll let you out in a vehicle an hour before sunrise, and you have to be back an hour after sunset. And so we'll go over all the supplemental regulation at the different hunt meetings, which are, again, the Wednesday night. What's the first one here, Donna? Let's look at those two nights. November 15th, 7 p.m., Centerville Recreation Building, and then the next one is Wednesday, December 6th, and also at the Centerville Recreation Building, 7 p.m.
Right, and there will be an opportunity for those people that don't have permits, ORV permits, to actually get them the night of the meetings.
Oh, that's
Yeah, Hannah's gonna bring the iPad and bring some permits, and we'll get them all stickered up right ahead of time. So that'll help move things on, because if somebody shows up the day of the hunt and doesn't have a permit, I kind of have to make them wait until everybody else is out there before we go through the permitting process. So we're trying to make it easier for the hunters.
It looks like you put them all on here, but I don't think we need to go through it. There's quite a few.
Yeah.
Any questions about the deer hunt? Yes, Pete.
I did notice that pheasant is concurrent with some of those dates.
Right.
So you're just separating them by space on the beach.
So the pheasant hunt goes between Trail 1 and Trail 2. The deer hunt is between Trail 2 and Trail 5. The ORV beach will be open for in entirety for the bow hunting, and then we will be closing it for that week of the primitive weapon hunt at Trail 2. So by that time, the pheasant hunting is over. Well, pheasant hunting has been extended to December 30th.
Yes.
I will tell you, though, after our traditional stalking at Thanksgiving, there will be no more stalking. So if anybody wants to hunt, it's basically holdovers.
Good, thanks.
Just to clarify, the cottage owners will still be able to get
Yeah,
down the front beach.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Cottage owners will not be impacted.
Yep.
But there'll be signage on the marsh trail. You know, we just want everybody safe, especially with the deer hunt. So there'll be signage, for 1 week, for 5 days or 6 days, then we'll be able to go past Trail 2. And that happens every other year. And I know it's kind of a pain in the neck, but we just want everybody safe. And that's our mission, is for the hunters to have a good hunt, and for the hikers to be okay, and for anybody on the ORV to be safe. So that's where we're at.
Okay, any questions from anybody on that? We have two other things on the agenda. Discussion of regulations.
Yeah, I'd like to speak to that.
Yeah, you want to cover that now? We have an election of officers, which we can't do, obviously,
Which we
so.
can't do, yeah. So really, my whole tenure, which has been many, many years, we've done our regulation upgrades every other year. And so staff and I got together and looked at the regs for this potential reg change. And there was little things, but there was nothing substantial. And so it's a pretty heavy lift to change regs. I think it really says we've done a good job. We got a really tight regulation that we've thought through. We've used Officer Kelsey. We bounced it off you guys, and we really have put a lot of effort into it for even the what-if scenarios. Like, it comes to mind the last time we did this, suddenly people wanted to have a sauna on the beach. So that was not something that was in the regulations, but we put a regulation in. You know, any sort of unusual new thing needs to be approved by us. So I feel like they're really tight, and they're really thinking ahead. And so unless there's something that this body would like me to look into, I don't see any reason to do changes this year, and we'd look for 2025 to have another pass at it.
Do we need to vote on that? So is that going to be reviewed next, or we don't need to vote on it? Okay. Yeah, I don't have anything. I mean, I think partly the good news is a combination of good work over the years, and the second thing I think is the point that Chris made last meeting, which is, things have started to kept under control out there. We haven't had a lot of issues. The environment's been good, which is another reason you might need to, start getting more regulations. But I think, anybody else on the board have any thoughts about that? Okay. We'll move on. As I said, election of officers, which was supposed to be in June, a combination of a senior moment and the fact that we canceled the June meeting, we just completely forgot about it. So I was trying to schedule for today, but obviously we can't do that. So we'll do it next month, put it on the agenda for next month. Other than that, any public comment?
If I could just speak to the next few meetings. So next meeting is our annual report, which I bring to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like officer election. December would be the town manager, and in
Right.
January, we do have some policies that we would be wanting the board to review. So we do have
Okay.
a continuation. It's a little off script, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. Come on, Pete.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second that.
You sort of have to second that.
Mayor.
Thank God we have a second. All in favor? Aye. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.